Supernova, out in theaters now, a small drama starring Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci. They play Sam and Tusker, respectively, a middle aged gay couple. Sam is a British pianist, Tusker is an American writer. They have been together forever. They're this odd couple, bickering and arguing, but clearly loving each other very much. And now they're on a road trip together, revisiting old places and old friends in what seems like a one last ride kind of deal, a farewell tour, because Tusker has a progressing case of early onset dementia. He's starting to forget words, get confused in the middle of the day, struggling to remember things, and he's grappling with the thought of what he's soon going to become. How his mind is going to fail him inevitably, and he'll become this empty vessel for what he once was. Sam is extremely caring and sweet, and he's willing to put his life on pause to take care of Tusker full time, but his husband may have other ideas. So it's a really small, self contained movie. It's pretty short, 93 minutes long, and almost entirely focuses on these two characters and their relationship with one another, but also their life philosophies, which come in conflict because of the situation they find themselves in. Three things stand out for me in the film. One is the performances. Both Firth and Tucci are excellent in a rather subtle, quiet way, and yes, each of them does have emotional scenes, very emotional scenes where they get to shine. But for the most part, those emotions are in the subtle facial expressions, in the silent looks, and the quiet sighs. Interestingly enough, I've read that they were originally cast in the opposite roles, and just upon reading the material during the first rehearsals, they both had the idea to try and switch it up. And together with the director, they found that this way it worked much better. The characters really came alive. And of course, credit to the script, it's very well written, but the film does stand on the shoulders of these two actors, and they carry that weight flawlessly. Second thing is how warm the movie feels in terms of its visuals. Despite the story itself being quite melancholic and sad, it never shows in the colors of the film, which heavily uses the sort of late summer, early autumn landscapes of Britain to create this warm atmosphere. It's very pleasant to look at, and the images invoke that feeling one might have during this quiet evening at home together with friends, enjoying one another's company. This relaxed, peaceful vibe, which remarkably does not clash with the tone of the script, but rather helps present that story through a lens of this sort of nostalgic optimism, of showing how despite life coming to an end, you can still find the joy in the memories and connections you've made instead of mourning it before it's over. And third and final thing that I wanted to talk about was how the movie is unafraid to discuss assisted suicide as an option for people with terminal diseases or illnesses that take away their control over their minds and bodies. I personally think, suicide is usually a coward's way out most of the time, but in these scenarios, I believe it is justified and acceptable. And the movie makes a similar argument in a way that is convincing and yet not dismissive of the opposite viewpoint. I thought it handles that entire discussion in a very adult way. As can be said about the film as a whole, honestly. I really liked it a lot. I think it's a simple movie that shines because all the fundamental elements of it are so good. It's melancholic and it's heartbreaking, but in a very good way.